Welcome everybody. Grab up a seat. Come on, let's start cooking. Today we're going to do stuffed shells. So let's get started. What we're going to start with, and forgive me because I'm using a cheat sheet. We're going to use 1 pound of ground chuck. It's 80-20, which is 80% meat, 20% fat. You don't want to go much more than that because it will be a lot of grease. So as I was saying, let's get this show on the road. To this, we're adding a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of Trader Joe's rainbow peppercorns. These things put black pepper to shame. It's awesome. Try it if you haven't already. Alright, as I was saying, a 1/2 teaspoon of Worcestershire, 1/2 teaspoon of black peppercorns, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We're going to mix that in here. And I should have waited just a second. As you can see on this other burner over here, I've got the water going for our noodles, which are Kroger Private Stock Selection Jumbo Shells. All the other brand names had large, and the large you couldn't have put a 1/2 teaspoon of stuff in. So anyway, like I was saying, if you want to get a shot of these before, there they are. I'm going to do these al dente for about 14 minutes. So when we get this ground beef going, and we'll be back after we get this about halfway done. We're going to add a little bit more of spices to it, which will be some granulated, some minced garlic. Got told by a few on our trial recipe on this that it was a tad bit too salty, so we're cut back on everything, and we're also going to increase another ingredient or so to take up for that. So come on back in just a few minutes and we shall be right back. Our ground beef is about cooked. I didn't want to put the garlic in. That's 3 cloves of minced garlic, fresh garlic. Let that sit in there for probably 20-30 seconds till it gets a little bit fragrant, and mix it up. Then when it's done, what we're going to do is set this off to the side, drain the fat, or should I say drain the fat and set it off to the side, not that in that particular order. Just love that smell of garlic. Whew, that's really good. Alright. Now we've got our water is going pretty good for our jumbo shells. We're going to set our timer for 14 minutes. Drop them in. And go. I like to stir these things every minute or two just to keep them from sticking. I probably got a little bit too much water in, but I'd rather have too much than too little and sit there and everything get dry. Alright, look at this. We're done here. Let's set this off to the side. Drain it. And we're getting ready to go to step 2. We'll be right back. Alright, next up, get you a couple of teaspoons of olive oil in your frying pan. What we're going to do is heat this up, and we're going to put into that a 1/2 cup of finely chopped celery, 1/2 cup of finely chopped onion, and we're going to cook this down just till it's opaque. And the celery, you know, a lot of people, they will get rid of those, the little leaves in the center of the celery. Use those. They have a really a lot of flavor in those leaves. Chop them up fine. Like I said, everything, the onion and the celery are finely chopped, because what you're going to do is when you mix all this together, you're going to end up putting it in the shells. Which let me get out of the way there and let my photographer get in here. Get a shot of that. While he's doing that, I'm going to stir these noodles over here. Alright. And we're still like 8 minutes and so on there. So, as I was saying, you want to do these till they're opaque. Then after that, we're going to add 6 ounces of spinach. I know that sounds like a lot. I mean, I've chopped it up, but it's going to cook down a lot. So I think I've got these running for about maybe 4 or 5 minutes to get opaque. I don't want to put the spinach in right now because it'll overcook. So I'm trying to keep everything on one level here. So with that, give me a few minutes, and when we come back, the spinach will be in here. We're moving on down the road with it. Alright, we're back and we're dumping in this, as you can tell, 6 ounces of chopped spinach. We'll let that sit for just a minute and then stir it up. Alright, let's see what we got here. We've got this on medium to roughly medium-high heat, and within 2 or 3 minutes it should cook down. I can already see the onions coming through, and we've got about 255 or so on the noodles over there. Another stir. Like I said, you don't want to overcook the noodles because you're going to be stuffing them things and they will tear up. I tried it. I started it with a whole pound bag and there was so much left over. And like I said, al dente is the way to go. Alright. It looks a tad bit dry in here to me. Spinach is a high moisture content vegetable. And as you can tell, since we just put it in there, how much is cooked down. Okay. While that's finishing up there, I also need to get an oven started on 350. When that timer goes off, we'll pull those noodles. Stephen, can you get another shot of this to see how this is really cooked down? We tried it initially with 4 ounces and it was like, it's okay, but I don't know, I kind of like spinach, especially the fresh. Just like I said, just chop it up and go with it. Okay, when we come back, we're going to have this ready to go with the ground beef. We're going to add the ground beef to this. Well, I guess you know what? It really looks fairly well ready. So let's go ahead and add this ground beef. What I'm getting ready to do to it, you're going to go, what? I'm going to add a cup of beef stock to it. We're going to add a half a cup of Parmesan cheese to it. The recipe calls for 3/4 of a cup. We're going to use a half a cup in here, and then when we prep these for the oven, we'll sprinkle a little bit on top. You see how it's looking now? It's really looking good. That's about the right consistency of vegetable to meat. Our first batch is way too much meat. Okay, let that go for a minute or two. Should be about time to pull those noodles. So what did I tell you? Turn off that. And tell you what, let me get these drained and in a bowl, and we'll be right back to continue. Okay folks, we're getting ready to add a cup of beef broth. Alright, let's go ahead and get this in. When I first did this, I did a half a cup, and it's like, where did it go? So I went up with a half, and what we're going to do with this, let's get this heated back up again. I'm going to make what they call a slurry, which is going to be cornstarch and water. I'm going to stir that up. What we'll do is wait until that heats up a little bit. And we're just going to more or less just mix it in here. You can see, Stephen, if you come in here, it's drank up literally almost all of that beef broth, but the excess stuff, we don't want it soupy. So what we're going to do here is take the cornstarch and the water mixture, stir it in there. Now over the next few minutes that will thicken up, and then what we're going to do is let this cool down just a little bit. You know what I forgot to do? Here we go. There's your half a cup of Parmesan. Mix it up. Almost forgot that. Did one recipe, nobody noticed it. I think it was our slider video. I forgot to put cheese on it. And then the final product had the cheese on it, so my apologies. Alright, look at that. I mean, it's like there's no beef broth in it. It's all gone. It's gotten that thick. Really good stuff. What I'm going to do next, turn off the heat and let it cool down a little bit, because we've got to put them in here. Oh, I meant to mention that. The way your noodles are here, you want to drizzle a little bit of oil on them. Mix it in. Why? Does anybody know why? It keeps them from sticking. Alright, let me turn the heat off here, and when we come back we'll be stuffing some shells and prepping them for the oven. Okay, we are back. Everything is cooled down to where I can touch it. So what we got to do is our al dente shells here, open them up just a little bit. And you're going to spoon in a tablespoon of the mixture here. You can put a little bit more in there if you want to. Then I'm just going to go through each one of these, what we're going to do. This is the other quarter cup of Parmesan cheese that we had left over. So you're not going to have to sprinkle a whole lot on there. And then here, some people say this adds flavor, some people say it doesn't. Feta cheese. The recipe calls for half a cup. Well, guess what? It comes in 4 ounces. So this is what they're going to look like. And I think I'm going to be put on high speed here. So that's what one of them looks like, and we're just going to go for it right now.
Notte giorno di torno girano, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto a dolcino d'amor. Delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto a dolcino d'amor. Non più avrai questi bei panacchini, quel cappello leggero galante, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante, quel vermiglio d'onesco color, quel vermiglio d'onesco color. Non più avrai quei pennacchini, quel cappello, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante. Non chiudrai farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girando, delle belle turbando a riposo, ma ci sento a dolcino d'amor. Delle belle turbando a riposo, ma ci sento a dolcino d'amor. Fra guerrieri può far bacco, gran bustacchi stretto sacco.
Okay, we are back. Here is the product before we bake it at 350 for 12 minutes. You should be able to get maybe 30 out of a pound of ground beef and your fixings and everything. This is 25, it's all a pound whole. So come on back in about 12 minutes and we'll show you the finished product. I already know what they taste like. They're really good. And by the way, one of my newest subscribers, Sarah, you know who you are. This is for you. Let's see what we got here, folks. Parmesan looks good and toasted. Want to zoom in on any of that? I have already had these things. Matter of fact, that's how I ended up, before our last little break there, I was shouting out to Sarah there. She's tried these, and it's just like, I said, what do I need to do with the recipe? She says, don't change a thing. I still think it was a tad bit salty, so we did drop the salt, just a little bit of content. So there you have it. I can let Stephen taste it if he wants to. He's going, no. But okay. Anyway, with this, we're going to leave it with you. As I said, these things are awesome. Strongly suggest you give them a try. We'll leave you with it. Y'all be cool. Love Jesus. Hey, we're probably going to have a little bit of news coming up concerning a logo and some other interesting stuff that I've got invited to. Alright, you guys hang in there. We'll see you later. Bye.
Fra guerrieri può far bacco, gran bustacchi stretto sacco, schioppo in spalla, sciabla a fianco, collo dritto, muso franco, un gran casco, un gran turbante, molto no.